I'm driving to.
If I remember right, it's almost an insurance policy because they'll come out on-site, come to us to fix the
Yes.
truck 24/7.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're getting a savings and you have great customer service, it seems like a no-brainer, just like it was the last time we did the analysis.
They have a mobile repair service that comes to us. And then, like Brandon said, that they can provide us with a vehicle if the extent of the damages will take a while to, or the repairs will take a while, and they have to maybe tow the truck away or whatever they have to do.
And they have responsibility for dielectric testing.
And they do. They provide all of that for us annually. All of the annual servicing of the vehicle, the dielectric testing is all part of the leasing program. It has a full warranty on it for the length of the lease.
Right.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, and if a single component out of the hydraulics on, the main aerial boom goes out, I mean, you're talking not $500, but several thousand to tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, we had a problem.
rotary joint go out on one of our digger trucks, and it was before this lease program took place, and the rotary joint that sort of turns, that rotary joint had to be replaced. It was over $8,000 just for the one rotary joint. So, and that truck was about 2 or 3 years old at the time, so it wasn't very old when that went out, and it was on us to repair it.
So how much extra time is being eaten up, and how is that going to affect your schedule? Are you going to go month to month on the existing leases because of this additional turn that we're going through to get this approved?
Well, the lease on these two vehicles, it doesn't expire until September of 2014. The problem is, since this is a specialty vehicle that's constructed, the chassis part, or the bed part, the work part is built to our specifications. It's got to get in the queue to be constructed, and that takes about 9 months to construct those vehicles. So the urgency is to get it in the queue and commit to it, so it can be constructed and available when the lease expires. If they're not available, then we'll probably have to work something out with capital. Altech Capital to extend that lease for a month or two until the vehicles are ready.
Altech knows kind of what we're going through, so they've actually put us in the queue, so we have a spot held for us. We've got to get it approved as soon as possible so that they can keep us in that queue. Otherwise, once we get bumped out, they get the trucks back in September, and we're out 2 bucket trucks. So we either purchase them at that time, or we're on probably a month-to-month rental or something. So.
But month-to-month is probably not advantageous as a 4 or 5 year long-term lease is either, is it?
I think the rate increases on the month-to-month.
Most of the time it is, because they want to get you locked in.
So the analysis that we're performing makes the first of all, obviously it's 2 components. One is we continue to lease. That's one side of the analysis. The other side is it makes the assumption that in September we decide not to continue with leasing those vehicles, and we purchase those two vehicles. If you do that, then you've got to make the assumption that probably the next year, when the other vehicles expire, the lease on those expire, then you're going to purchase those. So we had to get an estimated purchase cost for those vehicles when the lease expires, and then now you're in the owning business. You're not in the leasing business. And then we did a 10-year. We assumed that we were going to keep a vehicle for 10 years. So every 10 years we would be replacing those vehicles. And then there's repairs. You have to estimate repairs every year, and of course the annual servicing that has to be completed, the dielectric testing. Those costs would be out of our pocket and not part of a lease program.
So we need to get this on the council's agenda like July, August then?
Oh, I'd like to do that sooner than that, Randy.
Yeah, whenever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as soon as possible.
Be approved and fixed.
We've got the analysis just about ready. The next meeting we have, we'll be able to submit it to you to look at, and then I'd like to get it on the council agenda.
Great.
Immediately after that.
I understand that the reason that council's approving this is because it's outside of the purchasing policy, and we're not recognized to approve that anymore. But why is the analysis not valid from the previous analysis that we looked at I mean, are they just doing their due diligence to reevaluate, or, because nothing's really changed from the analysis standpoint from when we did it 2 years ago?
Right, nothing's
Or 3 years
changed.
ago, whatever it was.
Actually, the lease cost of each of the new vehicles, over the 4-year period, I think the lease is going up like $150 per month per vehicle. So it's a pretty minimal increase in lease cost. And you're getting a vehicle that's 4 years newer, you know, in the process.
There were a few things that changed, like, you know, we didn't know what the value of the trucks were gonna be 4 years down the road when we got ready to trade them back in, I'm sorry, not trade them back in, but what the purchase price of those
Really?
vehicles were gonna be. So they just asked for it to be updated, and that's where Bill's at with it right now, so it's giving them a most up-to-date.
Okay.
You're just plugging in numbers, huh?
Yeah.
And it gets very complicated because, you know, once you start buying new vehicles, then you have to make the assumption that that vehicle is going to have a factory warranty for 3 years. So, I mean, you've got to take that into consideration. And then there's trade-in values, and we've had several conversations with Alltech about the trade-in values on vehicles. Not only the first 2, but the next 4, and then after that, you know, how do you do it? And
See, by the end of this year, we're gonna have to take this analysis back to council again too, because the 2 large trucks are ready to go next year.
Right.
So we're gonna have to have an approval at the end of this year for the 2 large trucks, so we can get them built, so we'll have them a year later at the end of 2015, so.
Well, hopefully, though, we don't have to waste multiple meetings with the analysis, since it's already been done, and it's being updated again, and we're approving, already have approved it. You would think it'd be almost a consent agenda item, just an expense.
You have 10 total, so they own a kind of a 2-year cycle in, so every 2 years we need to think about
Well, we've got,
a tenth of, or...
we got 6 total.
Or 6 total, I'm sorry.
And,
So a sixth of the vehicles every 2 years?
yeah, we've got 2 on 4-year lease
Mhm.
and 4 on a 5-year lease.
Okay.
So at some point in time,
There's a-
the 4s will come up with
A 5.
2 of the 5s.
Yep.
And so, and the reason we did the smaller trucks on the 4-year lease is that's kind of industry standard. Westar and KCPL are doing the same thing. But, just to follow along with them, we only get the 3-year, 36-month lease, warranty from factory on those 2 trucks. We bought the extended, so instead of pay for the 5th year extended warranty, it was cheaper to keep it on a 4-year, and so.
Good sense.
All right, nothing further on that. Move on to work session item number 3, billing issue update.
if you recall, probably at least 1 meeting ago and maybe 2 meetings ago, I reported to the board that we had discovered a billing discrepancy during the last, snowstorm that occurred back in late December. I can't remember when it was exactly now. But there were a handful of commercial customers that did not have the demand charge estimated for that month, because what just so happened that the day that it was supposed to be read, City Hall was closed. So they estimated the energy consumption, which is pretty easy to do, but the contractor that the city uses to do the billing, their billing for them, there was a problem with the software package for estimating demand charge, and so the demand charge wasn't, there was no charge for demand for those customers. And we talked about that a little bit, if you recall, and since that time, I've been working really closely with utility billing and their contractor, first and foremost, to figure out the glitch in their software and get it fixed so that it doesn't happen again.
So it's not fixed yet?
No, it's not fixed
So
yet.
is that gonna be a problem from yesterday or Tuesday?
I don't know if any of our large commercial customers were on that, were to be read yesterday. I don't know the answer to that. So the